Welcome to Shallow Waters, where we're not afraid to admit that swimming in the same deep water as you is hard. Welcome today. Today is my Mother's Day weekend edition of Get Ready With Me. I have fun things I think to talk about, I hope. I also just groomed my brows for the first time in like 1,000 years. And I used something I've never used before. Eyebrow scissors! So I had to brush them up with the spoolie and then clip them. And I'm hoping that'll make my feathered brows look better, because I've been trying to do the whole feathered brow thing with wax or soap or anything like that. And they kind of look like old Scottish man, like it's not quite right. So with the random long ones, I had to clip them back. But just rubbing that spoolie over and over again has made my face very red. Because I have dermatographia, another part of my sensitive skin journey. Here's just some sunblock. Next thing that I am going to do, I forgot to get everything out. What was I thinking? I might have to start this over in a second. Hello, this is future Lauren from the next day. And I wanted to let you know that I am going to be playing back this video out of order, because I think the most important things were said at the end of my little rant, and I want you to hear those first. So if it seems a little odd, that is why. I had to go get my laptop because I realized I can't read something on my phone if I'm filming on my phone. Okay, here we go. It's from Jodi Langelottti, also known as Living Inch by Inch, and she wrote, Mental Health Awareness Month, Day 6. 1 in 5 people, regardless of age, have a mental illness. 5 out of 5 people have or will face a mental health challenge. We are 3 for 3 in our house. Let's face it, the last 2 years plus have been nothing short of a shit show. We don't get to decide what triggers us, what stays with us, or what causes us to grieve. I spent most of my life bottling up emotions without realizing it. I didn't want to feel those hard feelings, and society confirms that we shouldn't. I found myself turning to tactics and recommending them to others that I thought were helpful, but in reality, they did nothing to help me learn how to sit with discomfort. Think happy thoughts. Smile. Fake it till you make it. Positive affirmations. Practice gratitude. Don't cry. Look on the bright side. Find the silver lining. In and of themselves, these concepts are okay. They can be tools, but all too often they're weaponized to invalidate our own feelings and help those saying it to feel better. Often that is not the intention, but it is the result nonetheless. Sometimes this is our own inner critic. Our brains are designed to push away and avoid what makes us uncomfortable. This primitive automatic response is great when we find ourselves in real danger, like a dark alley, or when being chased by a tiger. We've unintentionally conditioned ourselves to push away anything uncomfortable at all costs. It is uncomfortable to have hard feelings. It is uncomfortable to see others having hard feelings. It's uncomfortable when we don't know how to fix something. It's uncomfortable when we have uncertainty. It is uncomfortable when we don't have the answers. The number one thing we can do for our own mental health and to help others with theirs is to recondition ourselves to be okay sitting with discomfort. Really accepting that it is okay to not be okay. We don't need to feel good every minute of every day. It's unrealistic. It goes against our neurobiology. We don't need to immediately find the silver lining when something happens. We don't need to think happy thoughts. We need to sit in the discomfort, marinate in it, hold space for others when they're in it, and be okay being this way. We can still do the things we value even if we are uncomfortable. This is easy to say, simple in concept, and yet really freaking hard to do. In time, as we process the emotions, We will often naturally gravitate towards finding the silver lining or reframing how we are thinking about something. Our parasympathetic nervous system will take over and bring us out of fight or flight without us doing anything, assuming you really aren't being chased by a tiger. If at any point you find yourself unable to transition out of hard feelings, please reach out to a professional. Mental illness is real, depression is real. If at any point you find yourself thinking about suicide, please call the suicide prevention line listed in the comments below. You're not alone. And I'd like to reiterate that as well. I wanted to share that. I'm somebody who's had a few struggles, pretty mild for the most part, with mental health. Clearly, there's other situations in the family where that comes into play. But for example, my father, who is no longer with us, he passed away when I was 9. He struggled with chronic depression. He had it very seriously. And I know a lot of people that suffer with anxiety and panic attacks and other things that are challenging. ADHD runs in my family. I'm aware of several people who have other situations. So it is very real, and it is something to talk about. I lost a college friend to suicide. I've lost a sister-in-law to suicide. I've lost an uncle. So it's a serious topic, and it's one that weighs heavy on my heart. So I did want to share that because I know in the past I've been a major proponent of that kind of fake it till you make it, be positive at all costs kind of philosophy. And I do think it's more harmful than good most of the time. There's a time and a place where, putting on your big girl panties and doing the thing that needs to be done is good, but you also need to take the time to acknowledge your feelings and live with them and figure out what the message is that they're sending. And I don't think the philosophy of always pushing them away works for that. So I did want to share that. I know that's not what this video was about necessarily, but it was something I wanted to talk about. And I think it's more important than the eyeshadow look or whether I used some type of natural makeup. We're going into Mother's Day. I'm so grateful that my mom is doing well. I'm so grateful the rest of my family has bounced through and survived 2021. That was not a fun year. And I'm more grateful than ever to have my family. But that doesn't mean that I didn't have a bout of depression earlier this winter into early spring. Because I did. It's true. And I'm just really grateful that I have a good therapist and that I was also able to connect with Cerebral that were able to help me tweak what my prescriptions were. And it's made a huge difference in how I feel. And I'm glad that I have those resources, and I wish everybody had resources to support them and a community to support them. So feel free to chime in and give me your thoughts, but I'm glad to be part of a movement that says it's okay to not be okay. This is Shallow Waters, and thank you for joining me. I hope you like and subscribe, and I would love for you to comment. And someday soon, I'd love for some of you to volunteer to be on my show with me. And you don't have to do makeup.